Good evening. Good evening. My name is Kwabena. Welcome. I want to share with you today what I call life choices. Life choices. Life choices. The choices of life. Most of the time, human beings can play with the most critical moments of their lives. The time that they had to go to school, the time that they had to learn a trade, the time that they had to start their business, the time that they had to make some critical decisions which will change the rest of their lives. And they did not see that time. And then later part of their lives, they compare themselves with their friends, with their brothers, with their sisters, and maybe they think that their life is not as they thought it would be when they were youthful or when they were young. And some people leave this to destiny, to fate. Some people think that whatever was meant to happen will happen, and that they had very little to do with how they turn up in life. And there are all kind of interpretations that people give us, and some of them are given to us just to be comfortable with our failure, the quality of decisions that we made when we were growing up, and maybe the decisions that we did not make on time. But I am of a firm belief that the life that we live, whatever stage we are, anything after 18 years or 15 years upwards, they reflect the choices that we make. If anything you want to become, if you want to become a business person, if you want to become a politician, if you want to become a teacher, whatever you want to become, at a point you had to make a decision. This is not 100%, but I think very few people find themselves in a position in life that they did not choose, whether they chose it consciously or they didn't choose it consciously. Even the woman that you marry or the man that you married, you happen to be somewhere at a particular time somewhere, and that person happened to come, and then you cross paths, and one thing led to the other, and that person became part of your life. That friend did not just happen to be your friend. You happen to have chosen some work, some school, some church, and you went there, and one way or the other, that person crossed your path and you became friends. Life, the proof of life's quality, the quality of life that we all live, they are as a result of the quality of choices that we made. So that's why we can blame anybody for the results that we have in our lives. It's choice. We choose the life that we live. Very few, it may not be absolute, or there are all kind of people who will just argue on all kind of points. But this is not an argument, just a case study. So what that I am living is as a result of the choice or the choices that I made. If the time I was writing in primary school. No, the time that I was at the secondary school, if I chose to play, I was. If I chose to smoke weed when my colleagues were going to college, if I chose to chase girls, get maybe 20 of them pregnant, my life. There are so many things in life, and every one of them can leave us in a different way. Have you ever wondered, maybe you went to, when you were going from JSS to secondary school, maybe you read science. Have you ever wondered if you had read, maybe if you have gone to study, say, arts or business, the college, the university that you probably would have gone would have been different. The friends that would have been different. And maybe that you would have taken. So every decision, every choice that we make takes us to a different part of life. Usually when we are making the choices, and when you are young and you are making the choices, you would not really think of the ramifications. You would not really think of the consequences of your choices. But every one of them took us to a particular part. Everyone. Even though the choices that you didn't make and your friends made for you could take you into a particular part. Some people are in trouble today because of just one wrong decision, one wrong choice. Maybe your friend came, they said, let's move around here, let's go and drink beer. And maybe they drank the beer and you were driving and one of you was drunk. Then something nasty happens. Just one choice. The next minute somebody else is in accident. The leg is gone. Life could be that fragile. Life choices. That is a bad situation. Another situation could be you were just somewhere, you were going, or you're taking a stroll, and then somebody met you, and you were discussing, you became friends. The next time you see, he's bringing some ideas. The next moment, that idea has become a business. That idea has become a product. It's all choices of life. We only don't link it every day. Our lives are a combination. They are the resultant effect of all the various choices that we have made. They prove where we are now. And that's why no human being should be angry of or equivocate or become jealous of another reflection of the choices that we have made. Some of them could be coming from the family that, if your family did not make the right choices for you, because I have friends when we were growing up that they were very good students. They qualified the exam and then the father said that I cannot send you to this school, I will send you to this school. Now, the man could go to a good school and qualify and go to the university straight away, but the father said, no, I could not do that. So my friend was sent to not so good school. He struggled, he stopped along the way, and then my friend's life took a whole different path. It's a choice. It's a bad choice that was made for him. Bad choices can send us into detour, and sometimes it could be years. But just as when you're driving and you make a mistake and your car, moves off the road. Sometimes if your car does not get into an accident that the people die and you're able to just a shift, and then maybe you're able to backtrack on the road. It will delay you a bit. You may have to exert extra energy to get to get the car back on the road, but at least you could get your life back on the road. What I'm saying is that we should just be conscious that every minute, every moment, the decisions that we are making, they are the ones shaping our lives. The choices that we are making every day, they are the one deciding the kind of life that we are going to live. So you can't wake up the next 5 years and say that, how did I get here? You may not be responsible for the 100% of it, but to a large percentage of it, you are responsible. You will not be anything. Whether you become a failure or you become a success, you would be responsible for that, because there's a choice, and we are all making choices in this life. So success, which is what most people want, not everybody wants to be successful, maybe, I think, but most people want to be successful. And success is a choice. It's a decision. It's a life choice. Some have never decided or never chosen to be successful. They have chosen to go to school. They have chosen to work in a particular profession. But most people don't choose to be successful. Most people believe that the success will happen as it will happen. A lot of us believe that the success will happen when it will happen. And the Nyamia kind of, and there are a lot of religious quotes that we entertain ourselves with. No, whatever level, whatever state of life that we are, we were responsible. We made a choice somewhere along the line. That's what we are. The country you live in, the family you live in, the house you live in, the children you have, the wife you have, the finances you have, the health you have, the happiness you even have, the joy you have, the intelligence you have, the craft you have, the skill. Everything that you have was a choice you made. There was a choice. Life is full of choices. The only thing is that a lot of people are making them without knowing that they are making choices. If you want to be successful, it requires choices. Goal. Success is intentional. I'm talking of choices where we have the intention that we want to become something. We want to succeed with our lives. And if you want to, it has to be intentional. You would have to have a goal. And there will be an element of risk. If you don't take that risk, you will not have the success that you want. If you look at our environment, most of us are occupied with going to school so that we will become successful. At least that is what they told us. So beyond even the first degree, most of us will still want to go to school, to school. Majority of our people, to them, school is success. And the thing is that the rest of the world are the world is a bit clear on a lot of choices in this life. Now, those of us who live on this continent, we're still yet to be clear as to what it takes to succeed where. I am of the thinking that if you want to be successful in your profession, if you want to be successful, maybe as a business person, there has to be a limit as to how many certificates that you want to have. And the personal development that you have to choose to have. I think that for people to get a lot of certificates, because I meet this almost every day, where you see a young girl working, and the next minute, I want to go to school. And it's so popular, said that it makes those who don't go to school feel like they lack something. Or somebody has first degree. I think it's enough for you to succeed at anything that you want to do, except in few occasions where you are required to get the second degree or third degree. For most people, their choices are that when I go to the next school, then I'll become successful. I think beyond your first degree, if you want to become successful at anything, it will not take the certificate. It will take a strong choice that you make to become successful. A lot of certificates, they would push you into working for government and maybe working in academia, but 90% of the professions of this world, if you want to succeed there, you may not need more than the first degree to succeed there. And so it's a choice for a lot of people where they are not clear as to what they want to do with their life. So they are occupied with, I identify about 3 of them. They are occupied with school. And the next thing is they are occupied with, maybe I have to travel outside of the country. That's another thing. So they look for visa. It's a choice. Your decision or the choice that you make to go for school is taking you to a particular part of life. Your decision to go for visa, go and live in another country, is also taking you to a particular part of life. And there's a third one where they don't know what to do, so they are waiting for God to help them. That's also a choice. Because you wait for God to help you, and after 20 years, you still see that God is waiting for you. But being successful in the marketplace, where you have to fight, requires self-development. Requires performance, it requires responsibility. You being able to deliver at what is given you. You engage a lot of young guys who have finished college, working anywhere. The sense of duty, the sense of responsibilities, the sense of delivery is not part of their choices. I will not go beyond 5% of them. You meet any young guy, 20 to 30 years, working in any corporation, working in any company. If they grew up in this culture, the sense of responsibility, the sense of delivery, self-development, becoming successful, setting targets, setting goals for themselves to achieve something. Most of them know. It's not part of their dictionary. Majority of them, they're just looking for ways to take money from the company so that they can build a house and buy a car. I could be wrong, but my experiences, I said that most of them, they are not committed to processing so that they become successful. And some otherwise are just looking for another degree, and some otherwise are looking to travel to England or to America. These are all life choices. Now, if the society can push you into C and not seeing yourself as, if I want to become successful, it requires decision. And it requires commitment. It requires of me to become better at what I do. That going to school and MBA and all those that they are trying to push on. Unless you are going to teach in the university, unless you have been a lecturer somewhere, unless you are being a research fellow somewhere. Why are most of our people are not clear that there is a limit as to what degree you need for you to succeed as a professional outside academics? Very green. The Africans are sold out on the different choices of life. So the things that occupy us are things that are trivial. Most of them have no substance. Because most of our people are not desperate to succeed. They're not desperate. So by the time they are 40 years, they look back and they did not commit to the things that could build them to live the life that they want, or they wanted, the successful life. They did not build the substance. So they get to a point and they look around and say, it's fate. Whatever will be, will be. No, it's not whatever will be, will be. You had the chance to choose rightly. But you can't choose rightly until you have the right information. And you can't have right information if you are also hearing the same common things that everybody is hearing. If your communication is just as the average person, you cannot choose rightly to become successful. So you just be a social script. You just be like anybody else. And so the obvious choices that we have here is go to school, and then go to another school, and go to another school, and when you finish, find a government job, or become a civil servant, or travel to America if you see it's hard for you, or pray to God that God will help you to succeed. It's not in a lot of us our consciousness to choose to be successful. It's not in our consciousness. It was not part of our training. So we've been taught, most of us have been taught to look up to God. We have been taught to look up to God, and God will help us. God is responsible for your life. God is this, God is that. I think it's a bad choice of life. It's not that I don't believe in God. I believe in God. But for you to hinge the quality of life that you want to live here on what somebody has told you, that wait for God, wait for a miracle, it's dangerous. That's why most people get to 50 years, especially those who go to church. They get to 50 years and they look back and they have not really, their life was not really committed to anything significant. Because they were waiting for God. And you, whether you know it or not, it was a choice. It was a life choice. Because your philosophy was that God was responsible for your life. So God will choose for you. God will open door for you. God will help you to become successful. That has made a lot of people average. Because I don't believe that God is really, God is, I don't believe whoever you call God is waiting for you to wait for him. I don't believe it. I believe that your choices make you. Your choices are contingent on the quality of information that you have. But if you don't know that life that you live, the level of life I live now, the peace, the prosperity, the happiness, the relationship, my failures, the things that I've failed in, the things that I've been successful in, the things, whatever I have now, a lot of them, 90% or more, were as a result of the choices that I made. I would be a different person today if I'd gone to read, say, law, if I had gone to read, say, medicine. If I'd stayed in a different city outside, where I met my wife, I would have married another girl. So choices of life. You can't blame anybody for the quality of life that you're living. And today, going forward, from today to the next 10 years, 20 years, those are not going to be different until you make the decision. Say that 20 years that is coming, or those 20 years that are coming, are not going to be different. At least the threshold, the base, they're not going to be different until I make the decision. I choose what I'm going to do, where I'm going to live, what is success to me, which profession I'm going to see myself in, what kind of finances that I'm going to have. The finances are very much important. People trivialize it, don't. Because it brings a lot of freedom. If you don't have money in this life, it's tough. That's the truth. You can't even leave the work that you do or the job, even if you're not happy. Because if you leave, where are you going to eat? Yet that choice of financial freedom will not just happen. It calls for conscious decision to say that I want to be free financially. And so if I've lived 30 years and I'm not free financially, I just wait for the salary and then I spend it. I wait for the next one and I spend it. And as human as we are, we think that somewhere along the line, somewhere in the future, things will change. Not only you, all of us. Even though today you are living from one salary to the next, we still have it in our mind that if you don't do anything about it, it will still change. That's a life choice. The thing is that it will not change. And we make conscious effort to change it. to improve it, to start to save some money somewhere, to start to do extra job, extra business to change the finances. If you don't do that, it won't change. If I owe people and I say that it will just change, it will not change. I have to put in extra effort to get extra revenue to clear whatever I owe, or it will not change. Whereas as human as we are, we think that it will change. It will not change. Life choice. If you don't choose it, you will not have it. If I don't choose it, I will not have it. If I want to be happy in this life, it's a choice. I have to choose it. I have to change my philosophy. I have to change the way I look at life. If I want to be healthy, it's a choice. And the quality of the choices that I'm making will determine the quality of life that I live. It's a choice. So financial success, like any other success, does not require, does require a lot of effort, knowledge, skill, responsibility. And we shouldn't live all our lives waiting for a miracle to change our finances. No. And that has happened to a lot of people. We are responsible. It's a choice. It's a life choice. Until we get the right financial knowledge, the right work ethics, make the right choices in terms of the professions that we want to do, financial control, the financial freedom will not come. Don't believe it. It's a choice. You choose to build a house, or you choose to build a business. You choose to buy a nice car, or you choose not to buy a car. If you have saved money, the decision that you make on that money will be responsible for the freedom that you're going to get financially or not. If you're the kind of person you get every money and every week you're buying shoe, it's a choice. After 2 years, you would have spent a lot of money buying shoes. And yet, if the next payment does not come, if the next salary does not come, you will not eat. If they fire from the job, you'll be in panic. You'll panic. It's a choice of life. See, they have taught us, whoever is teaching all of us, they have made us believe that somebody else is responsible for the results that we will get. So we usually don't link ourselves to the results, to the choices that we are making every day. You don't. The malt that I took today is going to be responsible for the head that I would have in the next 2, 3, 4 years. The sugar that I earned today. The chicken, the heavy food that I was eating around 7 p.m. or 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. It's the choice. So our lives reflect the choices that we make. Quality or weak choices. But it gets to a point that we should be strong to know which choice to make. And my position is that if you want to be successful, you have to decide to be successful. It's a choice. And you have to decide which area that you want to be successful in and what it takes to be successful in that area. There should be a decision. I want to be successful as an entrepreneur. So what does it have to take? The choices that I'm making. If I want to be successful as an entrepreneur, what are the things that I need? What is the training that I'm required to have? Am I to be trained as somebody who wants to become a professor? No. We have different paths. I've chosen to build a business. So my training, everything that I spend my energy on, my resources on, should be towards this which I want to become, which is to build businesses. So if I want to become a professor, if I want to become a doctor, that kind of training will be different from the one that I'm choosing as a business person. Yet some people have generic goals. They don't have any specific thing that they want to be known for. Do you want to become a pastor? What kind of training do you need? Do you want to become a politician? What kind of training do you need? Are you consciously choosing that, or you think that one way or the other somebody else will discover you and then you become a star? Somebody else will just mistakenly discover you and you become a movie star, a musician, a footballer, a boxer. No, madam. No, sir. It is a choice. And so if you have lived all your last 20 years, maybe your 20 years, you have lived all your 20 years, and you didn't make any critical choice, the next 20 years, if you don't make it, it will not be different from the last 20 years. It's a choice. It's a choice. And so if you look at it, we are choked with a lot of, the person is working somewhere, he has no money. And yet when they save little money, they say, I'm going to school. This thing, I don't know. You want to commit your life to success, or you want to go to school? I ask people all the time. We all go to school. But look at your condition. Sometimes you'll be better off working diligently, becoming known for something, getting results. But not us. Maybe part of it is the colonization, the infatuation that we have. As if somebody is working and wants to work well and become better in that field, it means that without that person having some kind of certificate, it means that person has failed. It's rampant, and I think it's one of the worst choices that people are making in this country, where they have not been able to clarify what they want to do with their lives, yet they keep on going to school. For me, it's a sign of confusion. It will be very difficult for you to succeed because you are not making decision that, listen, I want to be known for this. I want to be a carpenter, so I want to learn that trade and be, because people pay people not because of certificate. People pay people because they can deliver, they can perform. This kind of thinking has not happened to the Africans yet. The Africans believe, majority of them believe that when they have certificates, they will be successful. No. It's only when you can perform and deliver. That's what nature pays for. And the thing is, when they think that if they go to more school, they will get better salary, that is also a lie. It's not true. It's a bad choice. Am I against school? No, go to school if you want to go to school. But don't confuse yourself that you go to school so that you become successful. They don't meet. They don't meet at all. Especially when you have the first degree or HND. Beyond that, if you want to become successful at anything, it will not be the certificate. It will be the development that you give to yourself, the effort, the skill development, the dependability that you have given to yourself. So whenever somebody commits anything to you, they can look back and say, this man will perform. That is what is going to separate you from the others. It's not a certificate. The certificate will get you a government job. And if you don't perform, they don't even fire. So that's good if you want to become a civil servant or a public servant, those things, politician. If you don't even fire, he's a lawyer, that's it. So they really don't, it's not performance based. And that's why very few people will become successful there, especially financially, if they don't steal. No, if they don't steal, they will never become successful. Because success is as a result of delivery, of performance, of taking more responsibility. And so if your focus is just to go to school, then you should be looking at maybe becoming a lecturer or going to the government work or something like that, because that one, there's no responsibility. People are not really marked or rewarded based on performance. Most of them are just there because of the certificate and the position. So they can put you as a director or something. Even if you don't perform, no problem. But if you're ambitious beyond that, what will make you successful outside some of these areas will be the fact that you can deliver. And those have very little to you going to school. At a point in time, you decide, I choose to commit myself to become successful in this thing. Part of it is also a lot of these young boys are always vacillating, They want to live in Ghana or they want to live in America. They are chasing visa, and some people can chase visa for 10 years. You pay this man, you go and pay this man, you go to this country. And some of them can go to this country, they bring them back, they go to this country, they bring them back. You have to choose. Traveling is not a career. Going to school is not a career. That's not, you cannot succeed in those. Traveling is not a career. You become responsible for something. It's just a conduit. What will make you successful is your decision to become successful and to work at it consistently. And so that's why you meet people 45 and they look back and say, how did I get to 45? How did I get to 50? And they look at their life and they don't like it. Why? Because they did not choose. There were no choices to become anything. They were just following it. Don't choose to become something. Choose, make a decision. I want to be known for this. I chose to become an entrepreneur as a business person. So if you're looking for somebody to go and do politics, not me, not the start. I don't see it as something within the next 3, 4, 5 years. No, I want to build businesses. I want to own business. That's a decision I've made. And so the next 5 years, I'm not seeing myself as a Roman priest. No, I'm not seeing myself as a police officer. And so I don't need the training of the police officer. No, I don't need the training of a political party, representative. I don't need the training of a military officer. No, just train as a business person. It's a decision. It's a choice. And so if I succeed in that, it would mean the fact that I chose to be successful in this. It's not just that it will just happen. It will not just happen. It's a choice. So you choose. And stop looking for miracles and waiting for God to change your situation. Your choices will change your situation, not God. We have told all the Africans, when I was a child, they were telling us. When I got into adulthood, they're still telling us. And yet, the situation has not changed. But there's something wrong with that decision. That wait for God. God will help you. God will do this for you. God is, we're even waiting for God to develop our country. That's not true. Why would God give you such a powerful brain? And he still wants you to wait for him. So make a decision to live the life that you want. Make a choice to develop yourself, to set goals, to work hard towards your vision, to become responsible. If anybody gives you any duty, if anybody gives you any responsibility, make the decision to be that they will not go and look for another person because they met you. And you will be one exceptional person. And that's how you will become. And it's a life choice. It's a decision. It's a choice that you're making. That if somebody gets to work with me, I'll be the best of it. I'll be responsible. I'll be diligent. I'll work hard. I'll be trustworthy. I'll be dependable. I will not be sloppy. I will research. I will read about it. I will become better at it. So if you meet me in a month's time, I'm a different person. I'm studying. I'm committed to something. It's a life choice. Most people want to succeed, but they never make a choice to be committed to the success that they want to see. They're just sloppy. They grow around it. The core substance, they don't go for it. They just run around it. That's why they're occupied with the traveling, they're occupied with the school, they're occupied with the waiting for God. Because the rare thing that takes the strength from them, the rare thing that makes them responsible, because there's some level of uncertainty on that, because there's some level of laziness in people. Because if you commit to something, it will require you some sacrifices, some stress, some stretching for you to succeed. And that is a choice. So if you just hope that your life will change, in the future, your life will not change. Your finances will not change. Your situation will not change. Just because you're growing. It will change because you made the decision. Or you have made the decision to change it. You have made the choice. So life is full of choices. And every one of them can take us anywhere. The thing is that most of us are not thinking of the where we are and the choices that we made. Whether we made them consciously or unconsciously. Whether we made them if you understood what we were making or we didn't understand what we were making. If you rented that house, you made a choice to go with that agent. That's why you went to live at that area. You could have lived in another area, And the moment you make a choice, it takes you through a particular path. And that's one of the missions of life. I try to find it and see that, how about if I had made this kind of choice? Where would my life have been? Where would my life be if I had made that kind of choice? If I had read that course, if I had stayed in that country, if I had that friend, where would I have been? It's choice. It's choice. And so all those things, whenever we were making them, when we were making them, we were not making them thinking of the consequences. We're just making them, some of them, out of friendship, out of naivety, out of we were joking. But if you're an adult now, if you're a bit grown up now, you make the choices knowing that this is possible, or this is likely to happen if I choose this path, and this is likely to happen if I choose this path. We should just link our daily activities, our daily decisions, our daily choices to the consequences